Okay. So my piece, I start with this little blurb. It's not the same, my counseling client confesses during our online session. You're there and I'm here. Writing into to inquire on this, you're there and I'm here. The paper reveals the curves between here/there and absence/intimacy. My absent father becomes the focus of the writing as his absence in me shifts with his death. He is no longer there absent, he is here present. With him so close, my words become labored. I hear him and I can't write anymore. I write in fragments, fragments that fit and unfit, fragments around here and there, fragments to self. You will lose yourself in this writing. Let that happen. Let this might feel uncomfortable in the setting where we are expected to learn, to understand, learn to put knowledge down under for us to stand on top of. I don't want to claim any knowledge. I'm concerned with that knowledge that comes from standing with an understanding rather than an understanding. As you would listen with a music album, let yourself stand with these words, their rhythm, their flow. And if you find yourself lost, know that the chorus is just around the corner to bring you back in sync. This denotes a fragment. We have been working together for 3 months now. Anna has made significant use of our work. She is finding a space where she can finally speak into her emotions rather than be crippled, paralyzed, stabbed, killed by them. Emotions are becoming safe. The pricking pain panic that emotions are for Anna is transforming. Anna, I speak to her, I am proud of you. She stares away at the patterns in the therapy. Hear me? The experience of a safe self, a pleasurable self is fleeting for Anna. Moments are passing, transient. I help Anna hold into being here with Anna. Anna, good job. Good job. I keep us here with my body leaning in, my eyes making contact, and my intention heightening this moment. Anna smiles, full across her face, while tears overwhelm her eyes. Feel, Anna. You are feeling good. No, I feel I am good. Something in me is good. Every week I'm eager to meet with Anna, but I'm also hesitant. At the start and at times during the session, I notice I am on edge, on edge, waiting for all of this to just slip away. I'm scared that our relationship will fall away, be gone, lost, absent. As we end this session, this feeling of hesitance, of being on the edge is growing in me. Starting next week, we will be forced to meet online, a shift which I don't know if the relationship can withstand. I didn't think I'd get through to you. Sorry, it's my sister, Maria, she calls. I know it's late for you, so I thought I'd just leave you a message. It was late, 2 a.m. I wanted to tell you that I heard from Romy. Romy is my absence had disappeared. No lost connections through missed calls or unheard voicemails. Months without a lost connection made us wonder, I started thinking maybe he was gone, but he's okay. I mean, he's still alive. Silence. The moment hangs, soaked and wet, in need of a ringing, and I don't want to touch it. I just let it out there to hang wet. But Maria can't. Sorry, Alex, I'm on the toilet taking a shit. Give me a second, I need to flush the toilet. The flushing couldn't have come at a better time. A way to clean the air, to rid ourselves of the mess. The water gushes across the toilet bowl and shoves it all away, far away down there. I hear the empty toilet gargle. The sound, gargle. The sensation, gargle, hits the spot. down, gone, away, there. Anna pops onto the computer screen. We settle into our seats and begin our online session. This is our third online session together. How are you, Anna? She seems so distant, almost as if she is a dot in the horizon, a dot in the couch. I'm a pause, and I sense it. It's not, I sense us slipping. It's not the same, she lets out. I sense us falling. It's not the same. You're there and I'm here. And I hear in her voice that pricking pain panic. I feel in my gut that pricking pain panic, and I see that pricking pain panic gushing around us, shoving us away from each other, away from here to out there. I write about seeing my father in the hospital as he is dying. Prickly, the prickliness, that's what I remember of my father. His prickly kisses, his beard pricking my skin with his kisses. Yes, I know of that. A voice appears. That's funny, I feel it, I know of it on my cheek as you say it. And his breath pricking. Huh? His breath. A hint of alcohol just under his breath pricking inside my nose. Oh, I know of that, maybe. And a taste of sour just under that, pricking my stomach, pricking at my disgust. Pricking at disgust. A suggestion, a warning of pus of something inside festering, yellow boiled chicken skin, jaundice, half-baked baby lingering on the inside, scared, afraid, vomiting, choking, shitting, breathing in fear. No, I don't know that. What do you think is under that prickle of alcohol? Oh, I don't. What do you think is under that prickle of sour, under that prickle of a kiss from dad? I'm sorry, I'm not understanding. Where are you going? I don't understand. So I'm going to step away. I thought this was something different. I thought this was about reminiscing. I'll make it clear for you. My father is dying in the hospital and I went to see him, not because I want to indulge in past joys and share an of relief after a tender giggle or two. I went because I wanted to see this prick. It's not nice to stare, Alex. I imagine there is a tug at my arm, maybe for my mom, maybe for my teacher. There's a tug which is trying to jerk me away out of this stare. It's not nice to stare, trying to yank me away from this stare. Stop staring. It's not nice, trying to shove me away from witnessing whatever he may be. I wanted to see this prick, this pain, finally see it, stare at it, into it. Did you? Did you get to see it? There was this tube exiting from his gut, from right underneath his ribs, maybe even between his ribs. And there was this pump sucking out this gunk from inside him. I could see through the tube. It was green mush with bits in it. I imagine pine needles, a gut full of pine needles. Now, I was on the toilet and I was confronting him, Romy. I was telling him off. I was calling it as it is. You're an alcoholic. You're never around because you drink too much. Don't you see? Don't you smell yourself? Sitting there, shitting there on my throne, toilet paper in hand, and I was pounding my hand into my thigh as I let him have every punch. I was harsh. I was beating. I was throbbing. It was intoxicating. This power was alcoholic. Alex, did you ever ask why? Why? Did you ever ask me why I drink? And I sense it. It's not the same. I sense it slipping away. It's not the same. She lets out, falling away out there. You're there and I'm here. I hear in his voice that pricking pain panic. I feel in my gut that pricking pain panic. Why do I drink? Pricking pain panic. Anna, let's try something. Let's turn off our video. Turn off our video. Yeah, let's see if that will help. I've become aware from working online that we are not yet attuned to speaking, connecting over video chat. We have, however, attuned ourselves to speaking over the phone. The pauses, the silences, the nonverbal communication is accessible to us via voice call. We know how to lean into each other's voices. This may help us reconnect. We turn off our video connection. Anna, do you hear me? Yes. Okay. I asked that we turn off our video because she chuckles. I hear you, Alex, inside me. And it's like you are here. I hear you here with me. I hear you. I'm back speaking to my sister on the phone. I hear the empty toilet gargle. The sensation, the sound, gargle hits the spot. And yet, the moment still hangs dripping wet. And I get it now. The flush was needed to make more room. There is more shit to come. We got evicted a few months ago, and it starts. A plunge into each other, collapse, a falling apart. He didn't have anywhere to go. Why am I hurting? I have my one meal a day. It's not bad. So he ended up on the streets. I'm okay. Sorry to tell you, he's really skinny, but tormenting. He's homeless. He found these two stuffed animals in the garbage. He named one Oopsie and the other Doopsie. He walks around with them, talks to them. That's what he used to call us. What? Romy used to call us Oopsie and Doopsie. I don't remember that. Yeah. Where Oopsie and Doopsie? My father rustles himself up from the hospital bed. He is bothered, flustered, grunting and moaning with that morning vocal fry in his throat. He whispers, gasps, the bottle. His hand searches around him. Where's the bottle? He needs to pee. It's right here. I hand it to him. Sitting up over the edge of the bed, he takes the bottle from me. With his other hand, he lifts up his gown, takes a hold of his penis, and struggles, shakes. He can't get his penis into the opening of the bottle. I help. I grab the bottle. And as he presses the head of his penis inside the bottle, he's pressed from inside and he begins to pee before the tip of his penis is in. His urine flows down outside the bottle, down my fingers, and my hand, out of reflex, cups the bottom of the bottle, and his urine collects into the palm of my hand. Ah, fuck. He disappoints. He is ashamed. It's okay, I let out. But I am caught, taken by this small puddle of his urine in my hand. The smell of sour, the disgust of bodily excretions, the toxicity of this piss doesn't ignite an aversion in me. No, instead, I bring it in. I bring it close. I cherish it. This warm bit that rests in my palm from inside him. I lean into him. Romy, I want to write Dad. It's okay. That's why I'm here. This is the first time and the only time that Romy got to meet my daughter, Luna. And I remember passing my father in the hallway, and I can't remember the context of why I said this, but I told him some bullshit like, I'll be a good father, just like you. And in this moment, Romy pulls me in and says, no, Alex, be better, be a better father than me. Now I'm staring at that pattern on those curtains in the therapy room, and Anna, she inspires me to stay with this moment. Let's stay here. Let's hear this moment. I was trying to keep him out, away, absent. I was trying to avoid this moment where we confront ourselves and each other. I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to hear us. What do you think he wanted you to hear in that moment? I hear him saying, I know. I hear him saying, I'm sorry. I hear him saying, be the father I wanted to be. I hear him saying, be the father I couldn't be. I hear him being a father. We haven't met for some time, Anna says, but I've been talking to you. She lets that out with a smile. I've been hearing your voice inside me, telling me with a gentle, go easy, take it slow, with a compassionate, I know. With your voice, you calm me, you hold me, you soothe me, and it's here. Anna puts her hand on her stomach. I start to cry, and I hear you beside me, still, bare, naked man, telling me, you calm me, you hold me, you soothe me, The man inside you holds me, I hold on to him. Here, and my jaw drops open, my neck falls back, and my voice moans. I weep. Now, Jonathan Wyatt's going to be reading for another member of our group, Karen Serra, who wasn't able to be here with us. So this is Karen's work.
Thanks, Alex. So yes, this is Karen's work. Karen is there.
Yep.
Yes.
That was a while ago, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just checking.
Should we carry on?
I'll adjust it.
Adjust it. Yeah. Just tip it slightly. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So this is a piece called Who Was There With You? So our colleague Karen, as I was saying, is not here. I'm reading her text. Karen is there on my phone in Geneva with her brother Benja, who figures in this story. Donna Haraway says, making kin seems to me the thing that we most need to be doing in a world that rips us apart from each other. By kin, Haraway continues, I mean those who have an enduring, mutual, obligatory, non-optional, you can't just cast that away when it gets inconvenient, enduring relatedness that carries consequences. I have a cousin, the cousin has me, I have a dog has me. I, Karen, write before traveling to Chile at Christmas 2021. I first took the plane to Edinburgh when Benja, my brother, was 9. He is 14, almost 15 now. My little one is taller than me now. I haven't looked up at him. He wonders how he'll feel when he sees me. He wonders how I will feel when I need to look up at him. It's something else for me to have a brother, a sibling. I didn't have one for the first 19 years of my life. I didn't have a childhood brother to grow up with. I miss that. It's still fresh for me. I have a brother. Someone else has my 2 parents as their parents. I have a brother. He is also a bit of a son to me, my little brother, mi cachorrito. Haraway says, so I felt like when you touch someone and someone touches you, one question that emerges is, okay, who are we? Who do we make each other? Benja told me a few years back when they visited and we were traveling around Europe that the clouds here in the north look different. He finds them nicer. They're thicker, they seem closer, they're beautiful. He likes to look at them. In the south, the clouds seem far away, up in the sky. Colonialism is also present, up in the sky, in the clouds, in the aesthetics. A few months ago, we speak on WhatsApp video. We speak for long. We are engaged speaking, but we also go around our daily life and keep the connection open. There's a portal in the screens. I need to do something around the house, so I leave the phone open on the couch by the window and tell him I'll take a few minutes. I come back and tell him, I'm sorry I took such a long time. And he says, that's fine, I was looking at the sky. I took a while to realize that he meant this sky, my sky. The phone's camera was left pointing at the sky and he saw the colors of the sun setting. Very beautiful, he says. I am moved. When I first came to Edinburgh, I found the space encompassing, as if an energy was coming up from the streets. The space felt more contained somehow. I was left with an impression of Santiago as open, spacious, bare, the energy flowing horizontal to the ground. I liked it here in Edinburgh. A promise opened. My first impression coming back to Edinburgh after Christmas felt different. I felt chilly, warm, cozy, vibrant. I came back to Edinburgh and felt a subdued energy. My first impression when entering my flat was this always so pale? Do I feel I need to like one better than the other? Edinburgh shines too and has pretty rainbows, sharp greens, pretty clouds, lovely paths. Edinburgh has Arthur's Seat, my furry and slept giant. The intersection between me and this and that place, Edinburgh and Santiago, how they change when I change, but also how they change me, and especially how they change me without me being aware of it. I live in Morningside, a nice neighborhood. I take Alali, my dog, out and people smile at her and at me. They say hello, smiley faces. In the Christmas season, anticipating my travel to Chile, I see people with Christmas jumpers, bus drivers with Christmas jumpers, cars dressed like reindeer. There is an eyes wide open innocence. I make myself differently. I wouldn't wear a Christmas jumper. I can't imagine someone in Santiago wearing a Christmas jumper in the streets. I certainly can't imagine a bus driver wearing a Christmas jumper. It's not only that Christmas is warm down in the south and that Christmas came from the north. Suddenly, I feel somewhat resentful, thinking that Chile maybe can't afford that Christmas innocence. I also feel as if we, the Chileans, know something more. And that's why I can't identify with that Christmas spirit. I fantasize that a Chilean would think, you don't wear Christmas jumpers. You're not that naive. You wake up and become wary of what's around you. You have your eyes open to what's happening in the world. You don't make a fool of yourself. And yet I see the bus driver in the Christmas jumper and I smile and feel warm. I like it here, and I like it that I am not from here. I like it that I'm a Chilean living here. Being here, I own my nationality and the history of the land that saw me grow up, the place I have in my bones in a different way. Coming here was to follow my desire, a pull outwards, a feeling of expansion. Coming here meant leaving my little one. Before leaving, I wrote to him, my little one is bigger now. His ideas surprise me. My little one has the force of the sea. There he goes with all his might. I imagine all the many paths that my little one will take. I wish I was part of the land that sees him grow. Am I part of the land that sees him grow? He's taken me places. I've walked with him on his break at school. I say hi to his classmates. He takes me in the car with our mum and we laugh at my mum's driving mood. He took me to his first ride in his scooter all the way to Providencia, a busy and commercial street a few miles from home. I can almost feel myself in that screen and how I can be placed and moved around. Not there, not in the flesh, there, here, projected on a screen. My voice is in the room where he is. My voice is in his ears, earphones. He can take me places, show me places. I show him too, together. But I can't move things around him. I can't hug him. Are we together? I realize how much I buy into this way of making world that separates real contact from artificial contact. It's not real contact if your body's not there, is it? Where does my body end, though? Haraway, in a Cyborg Manifesto, says, this essay is an argument for pleasure in the confusion of boundaries and for responsibility in their construction. Is my voice part of my body? My imaging part of my body? A cyborg? Are we together? A yes or no question. How are we together? That's better. I don't want to shy away from acknowledging the difference, a different way of being together, a different way of becoming with. Benja and I and Wi-Fi and Android and stereos and screens and money to pay for data and skies and sounds of animals and kisses and I love yous and in December 2021, I took a plane back to Chile, the first plane back to Chile amid pandemic with a bunch of documents, tests, anxiety, masks, uncertainty, loss. I touched Chilean land and felt it familiar and comfortable right away. Sight. After all these border controls, I arrived to my country. My birthright to inhabit this land comforts me. I feel familiar, the same, as if I hadn't left, but I did. I have changed. Other places are also part of my skin and bones now. Edinburgh is also in my cells now. I have changed and they have changed. Chile has changed. My family has changed. My Benji has changed. Haraway says, just who is at home must permanently be in question. The recognition that one cannot know the other or the self, but must ask in respect for all of time, who and what are emerging in relationship is the key. That is so for all true lovers of whatever species. After a long, long queue, after taking another PCR test, I am finally out of the fly zone and in Chilean land. Yet another man-made boundary, yet another made boundary. So many people waiting for their people to arrive and my people waiting for me to arrive. I finally spot them. Benja spots me first, but says that he wasn't sure it was me until I waved. My mum doesn't recognize me until I'm closer. We have all changed, including our eye health. I touch them. First thing I do is hugging Benja and crying, feeling his body, his grown body in my arms. My mum cries, seeing us cry. Bicachorito is bigger than me now, and I look up at him.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Jonathan. So now we have Karen Kaufman presenting her work.
So the theme of the conference is roaming. I'd like to invite you to roam within my silences. I'm sat in my spot, feet bare, flesh and soil touch. Warm with cold, soft with prickly. The wind blows. Shrubs sway back and forth, and back, creating friction that sounds like rain falling. Or the little instruments my kids made with cardboard paper towel holders, tape, and beans. Tilt it one way, the beans rolled down. The rush of sound is created. Tilt it the other way, and the sound comes again. These shrubs, with their wilted, dried out seed pods, still attached to the branches, creates the same sound. Immediately, I am back to 7 years ago, helping my children make this rain sounding instrument. A time of wholeness, a time where worries looked different and I didn't know what deep ache and loneliness felt like. A time before death. I thought I knew. I didn't. Someone, it has to be someone, is playing a bagpipe. The wind is swirling around. And sometimes I can hear the bagpipe clearly. Sometimes the wind carries it away. The shrubs continue to include their chords, their contribution to the song that nature and piper create. This moment this presence it's important to me. I don't know why. I just feel it within me. The sun shines. The wind blows stronger. The piper continues to play. It is a symphony. A togetherness of land, sound, touch, emotion, me. Memories and the present. This moment holds them both. I'm sat here with land with the ghost of my husband. This shared connection holds the present moment and deep time. Together. Simultaneously. This is connection. This is loss. This is community. The world is not in motion, Haraway says. I feel the knot. The mixing of the human, the non-human. The living, the not, no longer living.
Thank you, Karen. We now have Fiona Murray's work, which is a video. So let me just get that up. There we go.
I sit at the table, head sunk on crippled hands and head a little heap. Without the force to either lie down or to stand up, I will sit here all night. Exhaustion is more profound than tiredness. Its structure of feeling is rather about an anxious restlessness. Exhaustion is about wakefulness and the distance of sleep. It is insomnia, exhausted, awake, not tired. A constant wondering plagues you as you ask yourself, have I exhausted all that is possible? Exhaustion is not the same as tiredness. Drawing on Deleuze's distinction between, tiredness cannot realize the smallest possibility. It's too tired to see what's in front. But possibility is still there. It remains even when its tired realization is gone. But we'll be there again tomorrow. But in exhaustion, nothing feels possible because it's not the capacity to realize that it's gone, but to possibilitate. Exhaustion has crossed tired's threshold, and its operation is to exhaust all those possibilities that the tired left unrealized behind. And with possibility itself exhausted, all there is the impossible. Therefore, all you can ask of the exhausted is the impossible. Go to bed. That's impossible. Go to work. That's impossible. As I write my out-of-office reply to say that I am on medical leave, I acknowledge exhaustion's force, its impossibility. Acknowledging this force is the starting point for the more practical task of doing something about it. Bridotti calls for us to see exhaustion affirmatively, not as a kind of romanticising or rallying of exhaustion, but to realise that exhaustion is not a pathological state to be cured or fixed, but could be a vehicle through which to see the intensity of discomfort as a motor of change. The exhausted, according to Chaudhary, are subjects who are feeling the overall system exhaustion characteristic of our global human ecological niche, who need to act politically, even if through differently articulated interests, by a desire for an anti-exhaustion agenda. So through embracing an anti-exhaustion agenda, my idea is not to supplant positive affect with negative affect, but to explore the moments of impasse and pauses and of exhausted desire, so that life becomes differently livable and sustainable.
What are you watching?
It's called The Quad by Beckett. It was referenced in a paper I was reading. I'm just checking it out.
Looks a bit odd.
I got it from a paper by a philosopher called Deleuze, but wondered how it would work with the idea of Berlin's impasse, which will mean nothing to you. Do you want to read out the quote?
Berlin 2011 explained the term impasse was intended to replace the commonly used French term cul-de-sac. In cul-de-sac, one keeps moving, but one moves paradoxically in a same space. Page 199. As we consider our current moment, one replete with impasses, political and otherwise, we continue to be struck by the ways in which our exhaustion is sparked by movement in the same space and enfolding temporality that is simultaneously static and moving, driving in circles, running on a treadmill, movement yet. To what destination? What does such movement do?
You did that really well. I think it goes nowhere. In exhaustion, you press on towards nothing. Exhaustion is knowing only the sequence of events that you must follow. So in exhaustion, I have renounced all need, preferences and organisation of my goals and projects. Do you want to read this next part too?
All of Beckett's work is pervaded by an exhaustive series of events, like this quad. Beckett doesn't think that exhaustion can occur without a physiological exhaustion. All of Beckett's characters are exhausted across all his work.
Yeah, like it goes from light to dark in the other ones I just watched. Like in exhaustion, you carry on the series of events whether it's daytime or nighttime, and work doesn't know it's outside, especially during this pandemic when we've been working from home. Do you remember I told you about did I tell you about when I went to meet my supervisee Perry in the hotel, and I was passing him by the window and he was pointing at the window and he was like, "You're wearing your slippers."
Oh my god. Do they speak in it?
No, I don't think so. I'll read the next part now. Bridotti writes, words in so many ways falter and fail. One can only talk about fear, sorrow and exhaustion in a language reduced to its ossified minimal components. A language that has reached the edge of what it can express. Knowledge production has to remain delinked from the pretensions of some sovereign idea of the thinker, the scholar and the writer as the master signifier. So the first language of the exhausted, according to Deleuze, to chop the words, the atoms. We need to first exhaust. The exhaustive says we need a meta, jerky language of names that first lays out the too muchness.
You still sit here. You've used a jerky language that names and lays out the too muchness. Shoes, slippers, socks. You have already exhausted all possibility. But now you need a second language, because now, according to Deleuze, you need a second meta-language so that you can exhaust an only possibility, but the words themselves.
How?
Now you need the others, the voices from the others, the blendable flow of voices. You need a blendable flow of voices, and you must exhaust the words by drying up the flow. Exhaust the words and dry up the flows with asporia. Deleuze writes it is composed of an exhaustible series of all the exhausts.
I'm still an early year academic. How is it possible for me to be exhausted already? Is it because I came in at the time where we had already exhausted the human? Did I arrive at the time where the stories have already been exhausted?
What's the breakage?
Are there any words left to exhaust?
It's not worth having, that's all I know.
Have we run out of possible combinations where we could put our old tricks?
It's the only one I ever had, that's a lie.
Who said that? Wasn't me. Was that Berdotti? Or was that Berlant? Can I cite others in speaking on camera? Or can I lift text? Can I use words with acknowledgement that they're not mine? That's the flows are blending together and drying up. What happens after we've exhausted language? I still haven't made my academic profile. There's a defunct space that belongs to me. I need to fill it with exhausted words. It's unnameable. It's not possible. How can I avoid the cliche? What words do I assign to myself?
Must go on. I can't go on. You must go on. I'll go on.
Is space
You must say
exhausted?
words, as long as there are any, until they find me, until they say me. Strange pain, strange sin. You must go on. Perhaps it's done already. Perhaps they have sent me already. Perhaps they have carried me to the threshold of my story. Before the door that opens on my story. That would surprise me. If it opens, it would be I. It would be the silence. Where I am, I don't know.
I never know.
I'll never know. The silence you don't know.
You must go on.
I am the third language of exhaustion, which is the language of space in the image. So I'm trying to go back to my web space, and I've asked all my supervisors to send me their working titles because I want to put them up there. Somehow I feel like this is what will get me out of this chair.
That's been taking you for ages.
Yeah, I know, because I've been going rushing and being really busy, but actually going nowhere and doing nothing. I think I just need to slow down and move more purposefully. Bredotti writes that what is inexhaustible is not some transcendental and abstract notion of life with capital letters, but rather the more patient task of co-constructing one's life alongside so many others. I'll show you some of them. I think it's okay since they're going to go on my webpage. I want to see some.
Andrews, Gail's, Charlie's, Dominica's, Kate's, Joey's. Joey's just threw her Viva, she did amazingly. Mingshi's, Lucy, Julia's Pentography, Kate's, Salomia's, and Ailef's, and Justina's. And there's so many more, but they haven't been sent me them yet. Anyway, I think it's time for sleeps. Bedtime.
Thank you, Fiona. Now we have Jonathan Wyatt. Do you want to try to stand up?
I'm going to try and stand where this
Okay.
chair is and hopefully be seen on the screen, which I know I'm not at the moment, and also be heard.
And
You just tilt the screen back. a bit.
yeah, and if people online can let us know if you can hear Jonathan.
Okay, so just say. Can you hear me? I'm assuming you can.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Cheers.
Yep.
April 2022. Sebi found me as I stretched. Meet Sebi. Sebi is my coach, my teacher. He's teaching me how to do Olympic lifting. I'm one of his junior team, as he calls us. In his junior team, there's me and there's Jim, also in his 60s, just a few years older. Jim and I meet in the changing room most mornings, greeting each other with tales of our latest lifting achievements, his retirement life, my university life, and our current injuries, mostly our current injuries. Sebi's teaching me how to lift. He's my teacher. He talks about me as one of his students, not clients. The first lift is the clean. The second, the push press, and how to link them together to allow them to flow one into the other. It's early days, but I'm beginning to find myself in the fluidity of lifting. This morning, as he watched me, he called, "Don't overthink it. Speed, Jonathan. Focus on the jump." I crouch, my hands shoulder width apart on the bar which rests on the floor. I look up, breathe in, hold. Back tight, core tight, glutes tight, he demands. Keeping the back tight is a challenge. To enable me to feel it, he asked me what I like to drink, to imagine holding that favorite drink between my shoulder blades. So I picture a bottle of Pinot Grigio gripped between my traps, and the back is as tight as it can get. The bar travels slow up my shins, then as it reaches just above the knees, it accelerates, bouncing off the tops of my thighs as I jump, elbows hooking, body dropping underneath the bar into a squat. The knees and the hips extend to standing, the bar resting across my collarbone, my quads, glutes, and core still tight. Standing upright, the feet move closer, the legs bend, then a spring, heels lifted, elbows snapped, bar between my hands above the head, lock. The trajectory of the horizontal bar has to be straight up, head withdrawn to avoid injury. Sometimes the bar clips my chin, affecting my confidence and the bar's path in subsequent lifts, my fear sending the bar looping out in front of me. Once after that happened, Sebi approached close and said quietly, "Jonathan, you're closing your eyes. Keep them open. You're closing them as you spring." Closing your eyes is adorable, but unwise. This morning was a good session. The body smooth, eyes open, the bar shooting up fast and direct. Sebi, after one successful lift sequence, leapt from the nearby bench, excited, shouting, "Yes, make some noise." I let the bar go from above my head to land on the platform and bounce, and I clenched my fists and roared. Sebi cheered. Later, when it was time for me to work and for him to see another student, we pumped fists, shook hands, hugged, and I told him I loved him. So this is one story I can tell. It's a story of recovering, of healing, of fun, of joy, a story that's with me now, my body enjoying the legacy of movement and effort in the dark wooden chair at the cafe's marble table. A story where the body feels settled as I listen and write, my heart beats steady, muscles tired, content. My body feels no pain, a body found, a body being found. But the breaking body, the body lost, the body being lost, is closer even than the marble table and the dark wooden chair. It was there with me in the gym, even as the bar sped from thigh to collarbone to sky. The breaking body is not only a memory, it haunts, evoking fear, but also teaching me. It teaches me how to live. The body is always breaking, always dying. Its life always letting death in, and the body breaks in order to live. Its muscles tear to grow. This breaking body is here now in the movement of fingers on keys, in the stillness, in the body's happy rhythms. It was in the lifting bar, in the sweat, in the roar, and now in the writing quiet, there remains the fragility and vulnerability of the weeks, the months, the years of despair, the moments where skin raged and protested, and when, like that, I no longer knew what the point of me was. This is the body not as fixed and discrete, but as a delusion event constituted in its relations with other bodies and affects, always in process. spring 2020. I find I can't write about my breaking body. I can't tell its stories, the stories of doctors and inspections, of lights and surgical gloves, of COVID-19 masks and sympathetic medical staff whose care makes me cry. It's too much. It's too much for others, I speculate, but mostly too much for me. Too much information, too personal, too exposing, too shaming. There will be listeners, readers, witnesses whom I know, and there will be others I don't. And I don't know which of these is more difficult for me to bring this to. I know, I say to myself, how about I make this theoretical? How about I distract myself and distract you with theory? Invoke Deleuze, Guattari, Manning, Braidotti, Sisu, and my favorite others, the new materialists, the post-humanists, and the post-structuralists, and explore the indigenous scholarship those discourses neglect. How about I write with them, find company with them, look to them for ways of understanding how to make sense of this experience. Except theory is not a distraction. I know this. We can't move without theory. We can't live without theory. It was theory bell hooks turned to when she was in pain. She came to theory desperate, wanting to comprehend, she writes, to grasp what had happened around and with her. Theory is in the body. We are bodies of theory. I often tell my students, probably too often, how if we cut ourselves, we bleed theory. Whatever I write here about the body, my body, these words are already coursed through, always already coursed through with theory, giving life to the words, giving life to the mortal body, giving life to my mortal body. Theory is traction, not distraction. Or I know, how about I tell a different story, not this one at all, leave this one aside until it becomes a story of recovery, of restitution. Wait till then, ignore it, pretend it's not happening. How about instead I tell a story that casts my body in a more powerful light, one that serves to offer a better impression. Not a body in pain, not skin that's vulnerable, injured, smarting, not a fragile, aging body, but a temporarily abled, healthy body. A strong, unblemished body, a body that lifts and runs and stretches. How about I tell that story? Except that story betrays itself in the telling. It shines a light on what it purports to obscure. It appears to offer the bounded organism of the humanist medical body whose health is judged by the stability of its internal self-governing organs and systems. That body story is a cloak. As its words roll, it could not but tell how the body is always in flux, always disassembling and reassembling in different ways, always being created in transient assemblages between the organic and inorganic. A body that's not interested in being, not interested in what it is or should be, but one that's pushing at what it can do, one that's always becoming, however unwelcome and uneasy that is, however much pain ensues, and wherever that story may lead. I know, I say to myself, how about I make this funny? So others can laugh, so I can laugh, so together we can mock the body's failings, my body's failings, its skin fraying at the edges, wearing thin, its joke wearing thin. I could tell the story about going to see Joseph. Joseph is a natural therapist. After months of seeing medical professionals without improvement, I make an appointment with him. I give him chapter and verse. He's attentive, he listens, he's easy to talk to. He asks if he can have a look. I'm used to this now. I show him. I drop my trousers. He crouches. He draws up close, stays there, viewing from different angles. From where he is, stooped, he remarks, "That's not a very impressive specimen, is it?" "Well, thanks," I say. "You're not the first to say that." He backtracks. I mean the condition. The condition's not, but not very impressive, not. And he trails off and he tries again. It's not, you know, bad. The condition, I mean, your condition. I laugh, he laughs. You just about rescued that, I say. He prescribes 2 teas, one to drink, the other to soak, and suggests I take care not to confuse the two, or at least not to use one brew for both purposes. So yes, how about I tell stories that make us laugh? There are more. I need to laugh, even at this most intimate, this most personal of my body's failings. How about I do that, tell this and other such stories, there are many more, that render pain and loss, render failure wry. That would make this easier. Except the narrative of failure, Arthur Frank's chaos narrative, where there's no hope, is only one story to tell. Another is how the story isn't failing, it's not breaking, not at all. The body's doing what it needs to do. It's on a quest. It's responding, feeling, speaking. Its skin is charged with meaning. It has a message, a tattoo, and it's not only mine, not even about me. Skin, writes Sidoni Smith, is the literal and metaphorical borderland between the materiality of the autobiographical I and the contextual surround of the world. Skin that breathes in and breathes out, alive, sensitive, making living possible. Skin that's affecting and affected. Skin that's holding it together, holding me together. Deep, deep, skin deep. April 2022. It's time to leave my familiar cafe spot. I shift my weight onto my feet, and using my left hand on the heavy marble for balance, I ease up to standing. I say ease, but the process of standing is slow, a struggle. Sitting for an hour after strenuous movement was unwise. The body loosens as joints, muscles, ligaments, tendons, blood, breath renew action. The body's finding its way, finding another moment, finding another moment. The body too is a passing, a phase, writes Alicia Jackson. The body is shaping as I approach the cafe door, hand raised to push it open, being like Olympic lifting, like pain, the passage of the passing moment.